No amount of stalling will prevent an enormous change to Colorado's oil and gas industry from becoming law.
But that doesn't mean Republicans aren't giving it their best shot. So are they wrong for delaying the inevitable? Plenty would say, yeah, they're wasting precious time. Others say, though, they're just representing those who voted for them.
All right, so take a look at Adams County, a drilling destination. Back in November, voters there elected 5 Democrats and 1 Republican to office. And like the majority of Colorado voters statewide, they mostly turned out to be against increasing oil and gas setbacks.
And then there's the unofficial industry headquarters here in Weld County, which is represented by 5 Republicans and only 1 Democrat in the legislature. So 74% of Weld County voters oppose oil and gas setbacks.
Which leads us here. At the State House, Democrats have the numbers to carry out their agenda. Republicans arguing their concerns and the concerns of their constituents are being ignored.
Denver 7's Jason Grenauer joins us tonight at 6 o'clock. Jason, the fighting we're seeing tonight, not just limited to oil and gas, and it's also gotten a little bit petty at times.
It has. A few days ago, right here on Denver 7, I did a story about a pedestrian group with catchy signs trying to get drivers to slow down for safety in neighborhoods. Well, apparently the state legislature got that message because they have resorted to a crawl. So is this just following the letter of the law? And is it what's best for Coloradans?
Please read the journal at length.
This is how today's session of the state Senate started. The rare occurrence of rereading the minutes of yesterday's session for a half hour.
Just to delay, to obstruct, to make sure that we don't get any business done today.
The Constitution gives us the right to say, no, slow down. Don't make these big changes.
That was followed by Senator Owen Hill, a Colorado Springs Republican, asking for all bills to be read out loud in full before any vote.
We're affecting millions of jobs and billions of dollars, and we should slow down that discussion rather than just rush stuff through.
Basically slowing everything down to a crawl and creating sort of an embarrassment for the institution of the democratic process.
Hours later, and only 2 bills were voted on.
A tyranny of a majority says we don't need to listen to outside input, and I'll say, well, if you're going to do that, it's going to take a while.
It's incredibly frustrating. It feels like we have turned into Washington, D.C., which is not something any of us have ever aspired to become here at the state capitol.
Last week, Republicans demanded that a 2,000-page bill be read in full. Democrats used a computer to speed up that process, but a court ruled yesterday it must be read by a person, which could take 16 hours or more.
Frankly, it feels like we are negotiating with children sometimes, taking the rules at their literal meaning and perversing them to get their way.
Slowing it down is a healthy thing. It's a positive thing.
While that means some controversial bills may take a few more days to get passed, it could ultimately impact if a state budget is passed on time.
That is when you start talking about how this obstructionist tactic will impact every single person in the state of Colorado.
We have 6 weeks left. The budget's supposed to be next week. We'll see.
An interesting day at the state Senate. Now, both sides here have acknowledged that if this continues, it could mean long nights and even weekends at the state capitol. Just today, it took 2.5 hours to get votes on 2 bills. This morning, there were 12 on the morning agenda. Live in the newsroom, I'm Jason Grenauer, Denver 7.
Thank you, Jason. And the red flag bill was supposed to be heard today in the Senate, but with all the stalling, that doesn't look like it's going to happen. The legislation that would temporarily take guns from people deemed dangerous is very close to passing through the General Assembly and landing on the governor's desk.